My supreme namaskarams to all of you. Being a human being, there is a duty cast to give your expressions and views about social, economical, and individual problems in the society. Today, we'll discuss about the law relating to grant, rejection, and cancellation of bail. The art of striking a balance between the rights of the individual and the interests of the society is very difficult. Look at the preamble of the Constitution of India. It says, "We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty, equality, fraternity, and many more things." And when we look at into the fundamental rights, we will come across Article 21, which says about the protection of life and personal liberty. It says that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. What is the procedure established by law? It shall be legal, due, and constitutional and humanistic. Why? We want to achieve the goals of Constitution enshrined in the preamble. So because of that, the law relating to bail must be a due process of law. Let us look at Article 32, which is also a fundamental right. This right gives a remedy for enforcement of rights conferred by that part of the Constitution which confers the fundamental rights. There is a right to move the Supreme Court by appropriate proceedings for the enforcement of the rights conferred by this part is guaranteed. So, you have given a guarantee or protection for enforcement of the fundamental rights. When we look at the Constitution and the powers of the Supreme Court, there is one provision, that is Article 145, subclass G of Article 145 says that rules as to the granting of bail can be made for regulating generally the practice and procedure of the court, subject to the provisions of any law made by the Parliament, by the Supreme Court. So the Honorable Supreme Court has got all powers to make rules as to the granting of bail. When that is so, there is no difficulty to strike a balance between the rights of the individual and the interest of society. Keeping these facts in view, let us look at how the system is working. We are aware that life without liberty is eyes without vision, ears without hearing, and a mind without a coherent thinking faculty. Though Article 21 and the Chapter 33 of CRPC, that is Criminal Procedure Code, right from Section 436 to 450, deals with various provisions as to laws, as to bail of law. the law of bail, but still the concept of bail and its ramifications definitely shows that liberty is not an absolute abstract concept and it has to be governed by law. How it is governing now? You know that bail is a matter of absolute and indefeasible right when you deal with section 436 and 436A. But the provisions of section 437 empower two authorities, namely a court and an officer in charge of the police station, to grant bail to person who has been accused of commission of a non-bailable offence. So there is a permissive or otherwise discretionary power which is not obligatory. It has to be exercised judicially. The courts have to consider the nature and seriousness of the accusation, severity of the offences, chances of the accused absconding from the trial, and tampering with the evidence and witnesses, and possibility of repetition of such crime. Section 437 subclass 3 CRPC says, or it forms the backdrop of the application for cancellation of bail preferred by investigating officer or complainant or any other person who is threatened with the liberty so granted to the accused to the extent that it so interferes with the administration of justice, process of fair investigation. Then we have 439 class 1 CRPC, which empowers the High Court or the Court of Session, giving a discretion to direct that any person accused of non-bailable offence and in custody be released on bail. Then we have 438, which deals with anticipatory bail, which is exclusively vested with the Court of Sessions and High Court. In order to exercise that power or right, you must show that there is sufficient reason or for apprehension to believe that the applicant may be arrested in accusation of having committed a non-bailable offence. The Honorable Supreme Court held that recently that there is nothing in CRPC that indicates the granting of anticipatory bail should be time bound and it can continue till the end of the trial period. However, it is a discretionary power. Section 161 subclass 2 of CRPC empowers judicial magistrates to detain the accused in police or judicial custody and release him on bail on expiry of the statutory period of 60 or 90 days of total period of custody. Then we look at the legal provisions relating to cancellation of bail. There are two sections in Criminal Procedure Code. One is for section 437 subclass 5 and another is 439 subclass 2 of CRPC. Whereas in 437 subclass 5, it is the magistrate who has got power, but section 437 subclass 2 says that the power is conferred on the High Court and the Sessions Court to direct rearrest of the accused who have been released on bail by any court. For exercising this power, mainly the court has to see that on merits of a case, mainly on the ground of the order granting bail being perverse, passed without the due application of mind, or in violation of any substantive or procedural law. Second, on the ground of misuse of liberty after the granting of bail or other supervening circumstances. But in the first type of cases can be cancelled by superior courts only, whereas the second category of cases, bail, can be cancelled by the very court which may have granted bail, that is the magistrate court. Sometimes the principles of cancellation of bail on the ground of subsequent conduct or supervening circumstances have been wrongly brought in and applied to the cases where the cancellation of bail is sought on the merits of the case. So, absolutely, the distinct principles of cancellation of bail operating in these two different fields are there, and the courts are having full discretion which has to be exercised judicially, keeping in view of all the facts and circumstances in each case. But fortunately or unfortunately, in our system, generally cancellation of bail is an exception, and if that power has to be exercised and bail has to be cancelled, there must be grave and sufficient evidence and facts and circumstances compelling for doing so. Recently, we have been hearing or coming across the applications filed for cancellation of bail, sometimes on flimsy grounds, and most often in order to take revenge against the person who is released on bail. So the courts have to exercise the said power, keeping in view of the fact that the courts are having a compelling duty to enforce the fundamental rights, including the right of personal liberty under Article 21, and keeping in view of the various objects enshrined or the goals enshrined to be achieved by mentioning in the preamble of the Constitution itself. The Honorable Supreme Court is having all powers to make rules in order to regulate the system of granting or refusing of the bail, but keeping pending of the bail applications for a long time, especially where the rights of social activists or journalists or the persons who are suffering with ailments or ladies or children are involved. Don't we have a compelling duty or obligation to decide an application of bail or cancellation of bail, application for cancellation of bail within a week, if not in 3 days? The first application filed either for granting of bail or cancellation of bail must be disposed at least in a couple of 3 or 4 days. The second application, if filed in connection with that said application, some time may be taken. Why the first application has to be disposed early is because there must be application of mind by a judicial authority like magistrate or district judge or high court or Supreme Court in the first application at the earliest, so as to see that the parameters necessary to confine a person in jail are followed, are there, or at least to see that the law is complied with and there is due process of law which is followed while processing the bail application and finally at the time of disposal of the same. Keeping all these facts in view, unless and until the Honorable Supreme Court exercises all its power and discharge its duty embedded in the power that is given to it, it's very difficult to achieve the goals of the Constitution, especially the remedy that is provided for an individual when the rights of him are infringed, especially of relating to personal liberty, and keeping the same as a fundamental right under Article 32 and Article 21. So I expect that in near future the Honorable Supreme Court will dispose of all the bail applications within 3 or 4 days after the same is filed into court, or at least numbered, and give a direction to all the concerned courts and authorities, including police authorities, to dispose of the applications for bail or exercise the power to grant or refuse the bail or cancel the bail within 3 days when the first application is filed, and at least within 7 days after the second application is filed. Hope that there will be a definite, clear rules and regulations and conditions that will be framed in respect of granting or refusing the bail or cancellation of bail in near future. Please express your views and subscribe my channel, and request your friends to subscribe the channel. Thank you.